Hello, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome. I'm Aisha, and I thank you all the participants for joining this webinar, Are We Leading a Healthy Life? Creating Awareness for Mental Health at Workplace. This webinar will be presented by Fatima Khan, and the webinar will be 1 hour long. Before we get into the introduction of our speaker and formally begin with the webinar, I would like to share some housekeeping rule for the decorum of webinar. So here are some housekeeping rules. I would request all the participants to be on mute mode only and also switch off your cameras. If you have any questions in between, you can use the chat box in your screen at the bottom of your screen and put your questions. Towards the end of the session, we'll take your questions. I request all the participants to please mute yourselves. Okay, towards the end, we'll also take a group photograph with all the participants, preferably with your cameras on. And after the webinar, you'll get the presentation of the speaker and also e-certificate of attendance for staying online throughout the session. Now, I would like to share a short video message from our CEO, Jamil Janjua, who is known as JJ, about what we do at Octara. Here's a look.
Hi, hello. My name is Jamil Janjua, and I'm the CEO of TCS Octara. Octara is a company that belongs to the TCS group of family, and it has established an enviable reputation as being one of the leading executive training service providers in Pakistan. A large part of our success is attributed to our chairman, Mr. Khalid Wan, whose personal commitment to encourage the development of the people at both TCS and at the Pakistan level. It has been very stimulating and very inspiring for us. We take great pride in delivering high quality learning experiences which are based on extensive research of training needs, after which programs are created, working with the best possible trainer, the content developed to address the needs, then marketed as a series of leadership acceleration programs, and finally delivered, ensuring all logistics is taken care of to ensure a high quality learning experience. Our team motto at Octara is to help you succeed. Thank you.
Now, I would like to introduce our speaker of the day, Fatima Pervaiz Khan, who has extensive experience in personality development, and she's also a trainer, a blogger, and an author. She's also a life coach, and where she helps her clients with getting clarity about personal leadership and well-being. She has recently done her certification from the famous Jordan Peterson certification, Discovering Personality. She is also a certified trainer to conduct Train the Trainer from Carnelian, and she has completed her Bachelor of Arts with honors from the University of Worcester. So without any further ado, I would like to welcome Fatma and turn over the stage to you.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. This is Fatima Pervaiz Khan. Thank you, Aisha, for having me, and thank you, Jamil Saab, for inviting me for this webinar. All right. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
All right. So let's begin with the session today. So it's a window. Sorry. Okay. Are we leading a healthy life? Awareness of mental health at workplace. When we talk about mental health at workplace, there are two terms that usually lead any mental health awareness sessions in a corporate setting, which are empathy and well-being. Today, I'll be using a bit too unconventional terms to help you put across the message of this webinar. And by the end, we will connect this with empathy and well-being. Moving on, there are two types of person we will encounter in any of the environment we will be in. Person A, who is wise, who is grounded, knows how to handle conflict, is approachable, they boost energy wherever they go, and they spread good vibes. Person B, Person B is a bit inconsiderate and they're all over the place. And due to which they're a bit cranky and rude, hence these are the people we consider a bit unapproachable. They're energy killers and they spread frustration wherever they go. Of course, it's pretty easy, it's pretty clear who we want to be, person A or person B. And we surely know who we are. Either we are person A or are we person B. And it is also possible we can be both. We are fluctuating between both of these. However, person A have got their internal environment pretty sorted as compared to person B, which is why they're able to make a positive influence wherever they go. Mentally healthy people leave a positive influence wherever they go just by being themselves. And that is who person A is. That is who person A represents. However, person B, nobody wants to be person B, but we all know beneath the surface of person B is a person who is suffering in pain. And this is the empathy aspect that I would want everybody who's hearing today to walk away with. And person A for this whole webinar, I would like to call it as the person who's spreading love, and person B is the person who's spreading pain. So what can be the anecdote to this pain, and what is the prerequisite of understanding the source of the pain? And how can learning this benefit us in our professional and personal lives? What I would want from everyone is just to take a piece of paper and write it down whenever it comes to your mind and share it by the end of this webinar, exactly how or what is their takeaway from this webinar, and are they going to carry the lesson forward in their personal and professional lives. So as humans, we are either a source of joy or suffering for others, those around us in our environment, because we are operating either of these states as person A or as person B. We are either operating as love or we are either operating as pain. There are two factors that forms our environment, and these are our external environment and our internal environment. This is what controls our capacity to be in state of love or to be in state of pain. Our external environment includes our family institution, our educational institutions, our religious institutions, and our organizational institutions, which forms any organizational body that we are working in, operating in a group manner, and we're part of it. Our internal environment thrives on the state of our heart and mind and the health of our body and soul. Our minds have a direct impact on our bodies, whereas our hearts have a direct impact on our soul. This is how our well-being is linked throughout our mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual realms. They're all connected, and this is how well-being is going to be experienced if we have our internal environment sorted. If one keenly observes, they will be able to identify there's so much pain in our environment, there's so much suffering in our environment. And there's this collective emission of pain and suffering, and this is actually due to the result of pain living within us. But then again, why do we receive so much pain? Upon further scrutiny, one will be able to identify we receive so much pain because we let the pain that others give to live within us. It's very, very common example. For example, you are sitting in your office and you did something wrong, your boss or your manager, or even in your household, a person, a family member would come and, be a bit angry and be irritated and show some frustration upon you. And you will carry forward this to the next person if you are not sorting your internal environment. And this is exactly how we carry forward the pain we receive. We let the pain that others give to live within us. And this is where the person B, remember, person B we have been talking about, the person B who's living in pain is also a part of the system, and they're also contributing to the environment they are in. Whatever our outrage or resentment or irritation or frustration, if we are person B, we are carrying around is actually our hurt masked as our anger. Whenever we leave any problem area or any frustration, any negative emotions unhealed, unsorted, we begin to operate in a defense mode. And when we're operating in a defense mode, it surely is not going to help us in any way. It basically corrupts the warmth we were supposed to receive and share with our loved ones or whatever environment we are in, either it be educational, family institution, or our organizational bodies. If we are operating in these environment with our internal environment unsorted, we will be causing problems in those environments. It's pretty sorted this way, and therefore it paralyzes our ability to recognize, listen, and share our warmth with those in our environment. These institutional bodies are supposed to be a source of security. They are supposed to provide us with a sense of safety and security for us to learn in them, for us to grow in them. But the security providers within these institutions don't feel safe enough to offer the safety that we should be receiving to learn and grow in these environments. The transfer of pain, however, is pretty cyclic in nature. If we would like to believe us ourselves as victims and others have been causing us harm, then we have to be willing to accept the fact that we are victims of victims. And if we want to heal, we need to understand this very clearly, because that is how we will build empathy. That, for example, if I am hurt and somebody I'm coming in contact with, so I'm going to hurt them again, then again I'm operated in a very, very, I'm not sorting what is internal in me. Hence, I'll carry forward it. Therefore, this is going to result in an unhealthy environment for all of us to survive in. The reason why it hurts so much again is we are living unconsciously in this environment. If we leave our pain or problem areas unhealed, unchecked, then we are contributing to what corrupts the environment. The impact of our external environment is very crucial to our mental and physical health. And every unhealed person is dumping its toxic waste into the environment. Here, this is where it's going to get a bit tough for everyone, that the blame of all that is in our external environment is not on us. However, the blame of all that is which is in our internal environment is on us. It is surely a hard pill to swallow. And if we would hold a desire to make our environment less toxic, then we will have to be willing to accept our responsibility, our share in it. Just like manufacturing industries are dumping their toxic waste into the environment, and they're not willing to take any responsibility of how they're corrupting the environment. Similarly, we don't want to be held responsible for the waste we dump simply because that is how everybody is surviving it. And this is the decision we have been taking to live unconsciously, unconscious of how our internal environment contributes to the external environment we all breathe in. In order to further understand our internal environment, we need to understand that our emotions are governed by our internal environment is governed by our emotions. And what are emotions exactly? Emotions are feelings plus thoughts. We need feelings to assign value to our experiences, and we need thoughts to make a story out of it. The story we make around our feelings sets our narratives, and which drives our emotions, setting our moods and temperaments. We can't change what we feel without changing our thoughts about it. Such is the nature of the relationship between our mind and heart. And we have to, our feelings, we need to work on our feelings, and we cannot work upon them as long as we're not working on our thought processes. We feel in our hearts the thoughts generated in our mind. The feelings survive as long as we are nourishing them with our thoughts. So The thing around is that responsibility of internal environment comes, our feelings are not to be blamed. However, our thoughts process, our stories, these need to be changed intelligently. And this is where you will have to take responsibility of your own thought process. Is it positive? Is it negative? So we can work on this area. Learning to control our internal environment is like having an on and off switch. Love or pain. Every person who has ever caused you pain or is causing you pain currently as well is operating as off. It takes a pretty conscious effort to push it on and be in a state of love. The cost of this responsibility is learning to control our internal environment. Otherwise, we will be that person B who's causing trouble in our environment without taking any responsibility of it and making the environment even more toxic for all of us to be in. How can we control our internal environment? Awareness is key. Each individual knows their internal environment more intimately, and therefore, the more we learn about what is healthy and what is unhealthy, what is right and what is wrong, what is ethical and what is unethical, what is negative or what is positive, the more we can learn and create awareness within, the more we will learn to identify the personal gaps we hold to meet those desired standards. The awareness that learning brings enables us with the right choices, helps us to bridge those personal gaps of character. Therefore, to become the person A, we need to become devoted human beings. The more we practice to change for better, the better we get it. The easier it becomes to turn the switch on, and which is again turning the switch on is decision to work on your internal environment, is to manage your emotions. We cannot hope to be positive influencers in our environment in any shape or form, small areas or in big areas, without working on what is internal within us. So when we have more awareness, the more capable we become at improving our internal environment and being a source of joy for those in our environment, external environment as well, and keeps our internal environment healthy as well. Societal, sorry, okay, so the cycle needs pain to survive, and lack of love helps pain thrive. Um, our external environment is pretty painful, and there's so much suffering in our offices, in our families, in our education institutions. There's always some kind of politics going on, which is going to influence us in a negative way. And as long as we are being a person, we are further going to cause more harm. And in order to become person A, we need to become in that state of love. The cycle, we need to break the cycle of pain, because only love or being the person who is being the compassionate one, who is being the understanding one, who has got it sorted, who is willing to understand conflict and resolve conflict, is going to help change the environment into a better shape. With our hearts and minds in sync, we can be responsible towards the health of our bodies and souls. Heal and grow to love and serve, and that is what we need to outsmart pain. How to apply this in our professional settings? You are at least a part of an organization institution or a family institution. So we need to become aware of these personal gaps of characters and need to understand what is it exactly that's triggering us. What are the factors that are going to, make us go down the spiral of negative emotions, and we need to work on those areas especially. And we need to identify, okay, it's all right. This person is causing me trouble. This person is making me go down on that loop. This thought, this feeling is troubling me. And why is it troubling me? This is all internal work. The more we ask ourselves questions, the more we can narrow it down and we can help become more aware of our own triggers, and we can resolve that. Furthermore, we also need to understand that we are victims of victims. So if, for example, somebody is coming and ruining your day, you need to understand this person is already coming from another source of victim mindset of a person. And hence, therefore, there's this cycle, and you can only break it by applying empathy. We need to understand the person without being angry on them. So this is again a conscious decision to become a better person. Person A to become person A is simply to turn the switch on. We can learn to practice empathy by recognizing that people can be identified as person B in pain, and how can we help them to simply become, how can we simply become more understanding people with them. And this is how we can practice empathy basically. And having our internal environment sorted, which is governed by our emotions, helps us experience a higher level of emotional well-being. So with these two factors, we have our empathy sorted and we have our emotional well-being sorted as well. This is how we can bring mental health to workplace, because internally, whatever we have not been speaking about being in state of love or pain is what is going to drive us, our internal environment and our ability to influence the external environment as well. I think this is what Leo Tolstoy referred to as well when he said everybody wants to change the world, but nobody thinks of changing themselves. And Maulana Rumi pretty much also pointed towards it when he said, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself. And this is again a personal choice or a decision of who do we want to be. Either we want to be person A or do we want to be person B? Do we want to be in state of love or do we want to be in state of pain? And that is a decision that we have to take. So again, before I finish this, I close this. What can be the antidote to this pain? Again, recognizing it's my personal responsibility and resolving the pain that is within me and not expecting others to come and solve it for me. Okay, what is the prerequisite of understanding the source of the pain? Empathy. We have to be empathetic towards ourselves as well. Whenever it's hurting us, whenever it's painful for us, we need to understand what is it. We need to understand our internal environment. We need to understand why are we being person B and what is restricting us from being person A. How can learning this benefit in our personal and professional lives? This is what I would want to hear from the attendees of this session. If we can have something in the comments.
Fatma, you can repeat your questions and then we can ask the participants to share their thoughts in the comment section. Or maybe if someone wants to unmute themselves and ask the question directly, I think that would be even better. What do you say?
All right. Okay, so how can learning this benefit us in our personal and professional lives? As I asked in the beginning, to keep a paper or pen, write it down. And if this has helped any of you, please let me know. Is it clear now?
Yes. I think you should also put it in the chat box also. So the question.
Can I make an intervention?
Sure, Adil sir.
भाई मेरे ख्याल में unconditionality towards our fellow human beings is the elixir that can cure everything. When we start getting conditional in our interactions, that's when we start inflicting pain and being out of sync. तो जिसको वो कहते हैं ना कि जी आप का एक mindset जो है, empathy की आपने बात की, you're absolutely spot on. But basically, it has to be a win-win outcome that you're striving for. The world is too full of win-lose outcomes, So when you are working in a win-lose paradigm, then you will have pain. Somebody will lose, somebody will win.
बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है. Somebody will lose and somebody will win. And again, we have to be more acceptable towards losing. We cannot always be on the winning end of the team. So there will be circumstances where it will be disadvantages for me. But again, I need to understand it will cause a rise to some negative emotions. They will trigger the negative emotions. And again, if you're going to live with those losing factors, we will be more inclined towards becoming person B instead of becoming person A. So we need to sort those internal issues within us. And of course, it will never be a win-win situation, which is why there's more suffering in our environment.
मेरे ख्याल में aspiration levels के ऊपर भी होता है कि we can learn to curtail our aspirations and get reasonable, जिस तरह आजकल कह रहे हैं, in the face of global warming and climate change, the mantra in vogue is do more with less. And the emphasis is on innovation and reinvention. So a mental agility, agile mind is a prerequisite. And of course, कुछ अपने fellow human beings के लिए जरा थोड़ी सी sympathy जो है, अभी तक तो हम लोग rampant capitalism की गिरफ्त में है ना, कि the blind and intolerant pursuit of wealth has made us extremely intolerant of each other. So that's a win-lose situation.
Yeah.
तो आपका जो generation है, ये millennials का generation, वो कहते हैं they're all cause oriented, they're not bottom line oriented. So that I think is a good thing. It bodes well for the future. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else?
Yes, Fatima, thank you very much for your presentation. I think the objective over here, from your point of view, would be to create an awareness, about mental health being. We are very much aware about physical health being, but we do not give any emphasis on how we are in terms of our mental health. And obviously, mental health impacts on physical health as well, because they are synonymous. You can't basically be physically fit if you're mentally unfit, or you can't be mentally fit if you're physically unfit, you see. So it's a very appropriate topic that we have touched upon, and you have shared your expertise in this area. Thank you for that. I think, as far as organizations are concerned, there should be a certain realization that mental health is, is creating, if one is looking after mental health in their employees, if one is giving them the facilities or the provisions of taking care of their health, mental health as well, then there is a greater productivity and a greater return on the investment that is made on the employees. So I think it's good to be aware, and especially because of the COVID situation, where COVID has also been impacting very heavily on the health, on the mental health of people. And again, we keep forgetting that it's not only the employee that has to be taken care of; it is also the employee's family that has to be taken care of. The part of empathy comes in over there, that employees have families, and depending on the mental health of their families, the employee will also react accordingly. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good topic to have raised. It's a very short, in a very short while, we have said a lot of good things, a lot of positive things, a lot of forward-looking things for people to benefit from. And let's see if there's any other more questions that someone may have of you. But thank you very much, Padma, and thank you, Adil, for the thank you, Adil, for the inputs that you have shared. Is there any questions online, Aisha?
Not in the chat box, but I would encourage all the participants to, if you have any comment or any question, you can ask Fatma and you can share your feedback in the chat box.
Is there something in the chat box, Aisha?
No.
All right.
Okay, Fatma, you may want to elaborate a little more on what is it that we need to be doing to make sure that our mental health is in line with the current situation, in terms of is it positive, is it negative? It is negative. How do we bring it to positive? You have hinted at something, but a few more examples.
All right. So it is very much a common situation that we are expecting a promotion and it has been given to someone else. And in those situations, because we have been anticipating it, so we will more likely go into an towards more inclined towards negative mindset. We'll be more filled with anger towards our boss that they made a wrong choice. I was more, you know, I was more ready for it. I was the better choice. And hence, it is going to take a downward toll on our mental health, especially when one has been working towards it and the decision has been unjustified in one manner or the other. So this is when we need to understand if we are going to live in this state of mind for a longer time than necessary, and we're going to, just keep aggregating that pain factor, and surely we will be impacting our mental health, our physical health in the wrong manner. Also, we will not be sharing in our external environment anything positive. We need to take away something from every bad experience, and we need to learn from it in one way or another. And there are lessons everywhere that we need to carry forward. So we need to look deeper into what lessons can be learned from even any negative experiences.
Okay, Fatma, Adil Saab has a question for you. He's asking, would you like to introduce the spiritual dimension in transferring from person B to A?
Spiritual dimension, if for example person B is suffering, then again uh, a person who's suffering highly will be very much untouched with the spiritual dimension, and spiritual dimension is very heavily dependent on our faith. If we have faith that things will turn out better, then we are able to hold some spirituality within us to hope for better things. However, if the faith is absent and we are completely hopeless in the future or whatever circumstances will be turning out, then the spiritual element is absent.
Yeah. There is
And so we
another
need to
question.
bring it back.
Okay. There is another question in the chat from Moz Khan. He's asking, how can we improve mental health under the supervision of toxic boss in an organization?
Okay. And let's suppose having asked this question means we are not willing or ready to change or switch jobs, or not willing to change our boss or organization, seeking different organization to change the boss. It is very much likely that in every other environment, we will be coming across a toxic boss. It's very unlikely and unheard of that we बहुत कम लोग कहते हैं मेरे बॉस तो बहुत अच्छे मैनेजर है, बहुत अच्छे हैं. So in order to understand this, we will encounter bad people, we will encounter toxic people. The takeaway is not to take them as bad or not to take them as toxic, is to understand why are they the way they are. And if for example your boss or anyone who's above in authority from you is in a toxic state of mind, we need to understand that person is living in pain themselves. So when we are more accepting of this fact, our interaction with that boss changes. And naturally, it's human nature that we cannot, for longer periods, be cruel to a person who is being nice to us, who is being kind to us, who is showing compassion to us. So, and when a subordinate is understanding this of the boss also gains a bit more respect for the subordinate. This is how we can combat it, but it's difficult for sure.
Another question, Fatma, from Sabir Hussain. He's saying there must be some external factor which may help someone to turn off the switch off negative state of mind. What can be these factors?
There must be some external factor which may help to turn the switch off. Yeah, there's always external factors that help us turn it off. Anyone misbehaving with us is going to, instantly change us from on to off. It happens to the best of us, because in those moments we are not operating consciously. When we are conscious, oh, this person misbehaving with me, we will learn to cool it down. But if that person is immediately, because anger is contagious as well, anger is contagious as well, and it is very humanly possible that we will be contained by the anger that person in front of me is throwing at me. So it's normal, but we need to take pause and don't respond immediately. Take pause, reflect, and then respond.
Fatma, to what extent can an organization offer its employees, means to take care of their mental health? And what kind of a climate, what kind of what kind of benefits can it provide, which can improve the productivity, can reduce the burnout, and create better mental well-being amongst employees?
First of all, in my opinion, from what I have seen, is hiring proper people. Because often we are hiring people based on other factors instead of their competency. Often, and it may be they're competent in one areas, but it may be they are not competent as a boss, and they are not fitting in with the culture that the company wants to share. So the hiring person needs to be very much aware of what is the culture within the organization, and the person they're hiring are able to move forward with that culture in an aligned manner. Because if there's not synchronization between the person who is in charge and the culture that the CEO or the bosses aims to create, then there will be a clear dysfunction within the organization. So first of all is it's hiring, and then the people need to be annually or quarterly be reminded of what are our values and what incidents happen within the organization that moved us away from our values. We need to constantly be in check of these values. Are we practicing them or are we not? And these checkups will help us again bridge those gaps within the culture that we want to create, and that is what is actually being conducted.
So do you think there is effective access to treatment for improving your mental health or physical health?
It's not really 50-50, but it is as the topic is arising within Pakistan as well. So some organizations are, more considerate towards this, and some are still not. Some are only saying they are, and they are still not. So the problem is deeper, and we need to fix it on individual levels because, again, a corporate is formed of individuals.
So if I may reinforce my earlier question, that what additional medical benefits should an organization provide to its employees? What could it extend in terms of medical benefits that can ensure that the employee is mentally as well as physically healthy?
Medical benefits can be of monetary nature, and they can also be of non-monetary nature as well. For example, they can give them mental health sick leaves if that's necessary, and if the company can afford it as well. And the company should divide the task in such a way, for example, if one person is taking an unprecedented leave, so the other one can cover it up without causing too much workload on that person कि उसकी mental health खराब हो जाए उस दिन के लिए. So yeah, that is what the organizations can do. Organizations can also be very open in their communication that we take care of our employees. So when the other external parties come across with them, they know that there's a certain level to which we can force each other, and there's a certain limit that we should honor. Also, the other financial benefits we can give, which it depends on company to company. Yeah.
And from your experiences, do you think that organizations are quite concerned or quite aware or are worried about mental health of the employees by keeping in mind that there will be a greater ROI in terms of retention of the employees, less absenteeism, and less burning out? Do you think that the organizations are aware about these concerns?
Some of them are. It's arising, and the issue is being discussed for this very purpose to create awareness. And again, there are different authorities involved within an organization. One authority would want to lead with it, the other is not very convinced of it. So this is going to cause trouble, but then again, conflict resolution will have to take place in those situations as well.
Right. I mean, I think, more and more people who are at least in the more aware societies, more woke societies, the employment, people, when they're looking for employment, they're not looking for a high salary, or they're not looking for fantastic perks. But I think there is an awareness that they're also looking at which organization gives the best possible medical benefits to take care of their health.
Yeah.
Would you say, that's right to say that?
Of course, that's right to say that. And I feel I'm not in a position to speak more about the financial benefits that organizations can give, because again, it depends on the size of the organization and the earning and the sales volume of the organization. Would again would have to go to the financial department.
Okay, great. I think there's a question, Aisha, somewhere.
Yeah, we have a few questions in the chat box. Shoaib is asking, does professional mismanagement workload impacts mental health? If so, how to tackle it?
I think communicating with whoever is, whoever you're working under will help you, just put it across how this was mismanaged and this has hurted me and this has caused troubles for me and this is increasing my workload, and I will, we need to apply the XYZ theory over here, that this is what has happened, this is how it has made me increase my workload, and this is how I would have preferred and have benefited both of us. So this is tackling mental health issues always requires us to be more active instead of passive. So we need to take action, we need to speak, and we need to speak in a manner that is not going to come across as threatening for the person you're speaking to.
Yeah.
I hope that helps, Shoaib.
Sorry for the interruption. We have another question from Noreen. She's asking, what condition needs mental health awareness and why does it matter?
What conditions need mental health awareness?
Like, what do you think are the symptoms which require mental health awareness?
The big question is how to manage stressors.
Why does it matter? All right, Noreen. Awareness sessions such as this, when in the corporate organization, or of course, now that you're aware there's something such as mental health, we can study about it and through any means. It's available everywhere on YouTube. We can learn to be more aware and what exactly, when you are not able to move past something, you're not able to focus on your work, that is in trigger, that is in alert and alarm that I need to work on my mental health. And it is not always necessary to run away to someone. First of all, try to fix it personally. See if it's something fixable within your own environment, within your internal environment. If it's not, if you're not able to move past something, that is when you need to go and ask for help. It can be from anyone. It can be a person who's more understanding. That person can be within your own organization. That person can be within your household. And when you don't have these opportunities, these outlets, then you can go to a professional as well. And it matters because if you are not going to be contributing in your environment in a healthy way, we will be whatever a person who is corrupting that environment. So it's very much necessary.
I think the last question is, scroll down. The big question is how to manage your stressors on daily basis when everything seems so uncertain.
All right, this is what I think everybody will suffer with, even the best of us, even myself, who I'm not a champion of it, but of course, struggling and working towards being a better person is the main task. So the big question is how to manage those stresses on daily basis is to understand and to accept. Acceptance is very necessary to manage any stress. With that, there are some conditions we can change and there are some conditions we can't change. So we need to accept the conditions we can't change and accept it as what it is and move forward with it. When we accept it, the thing in the present, we are able to come into action. We are able to make the movement. So we just need to accept it if we are not able to change it. However, if we are in a position to change it, we change it. We take the necessary actions. And again, for this specific condition would need to be, mentioned so we can talk more about this.
The last question in the chat box from Muhammad Maqsood. He's asking if there is a negative minded person in your team who create toxic environment flow deliberately, how can we help him to get out of such mindset?
This is a challenging task, but again, it can be done. We can help them to, express whatever there is inside and without reacting. Whatever it is inside them, whatever negativity, whatever toxicity they are throwing into the environment, let them do it. Allow them to, सारा गुस्सा निकाल लें and then to help them from such mindset. जब एक दफा गुस्सा निकल जाएगा, the person will, balloon की तरह बिल्कुल हो जाएगा, वो एकदम, deflate हो जाएगा. So it's okay sometimes if you know a person is suffering, let them do it. Whereas within a team scenario, this will be difficult because again, other team members will be, engaging this toxic behavior. But we can take him aside, we can talk to that person. We always have to be understanding what is going on within the environment of that person. And when we understand that, naturally people have the ability to see, to be conscious, okay, this is where I need to fix myself, if we are able to show that level of empathy.
I think
What will be your, Fatima, what will be your advice to parents who have children at home or youngsters at home who are suffering from kind of mental health problem issues? How can they how can they can create an environment at home so that their children also take care of their mental health?
Every fix that we need to make is first on
And
the individual.
most have.
Sorry again.
Sorry, you guys continue.
Okay. When it comes to parenting, for example, if I am to be a right parent, first I need to be the person who is working on my internal environment. I cannot be a security provider if I am not feeling secure within myself. If my internal environment is for whatever reasons disturbed or is in frustration, I will not be providing a secure or safe environment for my children. So this is the first thing that a parent would need to understand. Moving forward with this, can you repeat your question again, Jamil sir?
No, I was saying that how can parents take responsibility for ensuring that looking at the environment outside, in terms of our culture, in terms of politics, in terms of our, what is happening in society. Obviously it's impacting upon the youth, impacting upon the young people. So what is it that parents should be doing, could be doing, must do to negate this influence of the outside, which can impact upon one's own, especially children's mental well-being.
Parents
You
need
know,
parents need to
so-
understand. Sorry, नहीं आप बोलिए.
you go ahead.
All right. Okay. So parents need to understand that if I am going to be frustrated, then I'm only going to create more disconnection between me and my child. So, and that is not healthy for the child to be disconnected from the parents, especially given the way the culture is evolving. So, in order to provide safe and secure learning environment for the children, we need to understand that here is what I'm doing is going to cause harm to my child. Here, if I'm not managing my ego and bringing it in with my children, then I'm disconnecting with my child. So this is what parents really need to be aware of. And again, I believe when I'm touching within this topic, I somehow from my observation, I have seen how parents, when they're not aware of what they're doing, they're making the child disconnect from their faith as well. They're making the child pretty hopeless in state, and they're pretty hopeless about the future. They are not confident in themselves as well. So parents need to understand that problem runs very deep, and fixing yourself at a elder age is not easy. But again, we need to be more understanding, and awareness can only come through learning. We need to choose whatever platforms we wish to learn from to be more understanding towards our own children or whoever is within our guardianship.
And do you think social media is helping, uh, get closer to this, or the other way around? Is the social media responsible for the mental, health
It's both.
awareness, or is
It's
it,
both.
impacting negatively?
It's both. It's the use of it.
What would you suggest? How
Now,
would one use social media?
I would suggest. The thing is, my suggestion won't work here because everybody have their own taste to life. Everybody would want to, and as age we are experiencing different things. We're experiencing different shifts within us, and so our learning curve or our need for entertainment is different. However, social media is heavily influencing us all with the only being entertained and not being responsible. So as long as we are only being entertained and closing and shutting off our brains from all sort of responsibility that we are supposed to take as we grow up and change into better human beings, if we are, just going to be entertained, then that's not going to help us. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner it will be better for us to be better individuals within our household, within our if we are going to an education institution, if we are a professor, or if we are part of any organization or group setting.
Thank you.
Okay. Fatma, we have one last comment in the chat box by Adil Saab. He's asking, through a process of trial and error, one gets to his or her optimal mental state. Kabhi khushi, kabhi gham, without sorrow, how we will appreciate joy?
That is very true. So दोनों जिंदगी के मजे हैं, दोनों होने चाहिए. And always wanting a positive experience, it's itself a negative experience, negative it's a negative experience, it's a negative thing to want. So sorrow is going to be there, and that is how we'll learn to appreciate joy.
Okay, I think we are done with the Q&A, and I think it's now time to take a group photograph. And I request you, Fatma, to please stop sharing your screen, and then we can take a group photograph.
All right.
Okay, I request all the participants to switch on your cameras if you are comfortable. It takes like 2 to 4 seconds for everybody to switch on the cameras. In your reaction button, there's a thumbs up. If not, you can use your real thumbs up and smile. And my colleague Sarim will take a picture for us.
Yes.
Sarim, are we ready?
Yeah. Hello, Aisha. We are done.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the participants. And thank you for all of those who have put your questions in the chat box. And thank you, Adil Saab, for your interaction. Thank you to my colleague at Octara, Sarim, who was also the co-host and moderating the session with me. And a special thank you to Fatma. In the end, I would like to reinforce one thing, that this session is being recorded and it will be later uploaded on Octara's YouTube channel. And it was also streaming on Facebook. So if in case you have missed anything, you can watch it from there. And with that, I would like to share my screen with you guys. There's a feedback that we take from in all our webinars, and the link is in the chat box. You can use this link and you can share your feedback afterwards. This will enable us to come up with better webinars, better content, and your input regarding the topic. So the link is in the chat box, and you can use it to give your suggestion and comments. Another thing that I want to share is that since the lockdown and COVID situation, Octara has been doing a lot of webinars, complimentary webinars pertaining to different subjects, and all the webinars are available on Octara's YouTube channel. So subscribe to our channel and get free complimentary information regarding to subjects of your interest and functional webinars to enhance your performance at workplace. So it's Octara training without any space, and you can check out all our webinars. They are very useful for your personal and professional development. You may find them very useful. With that, I would like to share our upcoming programs which are lined up in January. The first program, online paid program, is on design thinking with international trainer Mark Stewart. It's happening on 17th January from 11 to 4 p.m. If you want to register, you can register with the upcoming information that I'll share. Another program, Hire the Best, it's also online, and it will be facilitated by veteran speaker Rahila Narejo. It's on 25th January. And the last program is on role of effective communication for technical staff. It's a very interesting program conducted by a veteran and a very famous, renowned facilitator, Khalid Latif. So if you are interested in any of the program, you can simply contact my colleague Sare Matik, or you can visit our website and our social media platform to get more information regarding registration and information. Lastly, I would like to take a few minutes and share about our online platforms, which are unique from other social media platform.
Hello.
Um,
मैडम ये आपका जो लिंक है रेफरेंस का जो फीडबैक का वो नॉट एक्टिव है.
Maybe you can refresh your screen. May I know your name, please? आप दोबारा इसको रिफ्रेश करके लिंक को करें.
और we can send it to you again.
हम आपको
दोबारा आपको भेज देंगे.
मेल के थ्रू भी आपको भेज देंगे. अगर आप तो आप उसके थ्रू भी भेज सकती हैं अपना ईमेल, अपना फीडबैक. So I was talking about these two platforms. On the left side, you can see TCS Octara WebMall Plus. You can find complimentary webinars, online training, podcast, and all sorts of e-learning material free of cost. And it will help you in your in any of areas of your personal and professional development. All you have to do is you have to fill in the registration form, and you can access all the information. On the right side, you can see Made in Pakistan Web Mall, a Phoenix Rising. Here we share all the positive news about Pakistan and Pakistanis all around the world. So, like somebody said in mentioned that they are unable to fill the feedback form, I would request them to contact Sare, and here is his email address on the screen, and he will send you the link, and you can share your feedback. Iske alawa, if you want any other information regarding our upcoming programs and happenings, you can contact him directly, or you can find more information on our website, on our Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and you can write us directly on info@octara.com. So with that, we come to an end to our webinar, and hope to see you soon in our upcoming webinars and programs. Jay, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'd like to thank, on behalf of Octara, and I'm sure my team, our team, and the participants on this webinar, thank Fatima for her very, concise and very straightforward, short, but very interesting presentation on this subject. And of course, the impact of your presentation raised quite a few questions, which shows the kind of interest people have in this specific topic. So we will want to continue, following, doing more webinars on well-being, which we have done in the past. We will continue doing that because post-COVID has become even more essential. And again, like I said, from the corporate point of view, from the employer point of view, I think there has to be another creating higher awareness about the need for providing their employees with good working conditions and good medical benefits. So, all those employees who are online, who were participating today, I would like to name them: Hinopark, Master Motor, Parco, NCCPL, Midas, and Jaffer Group. Most of the time, we have employees from these organizations checking in and participating in our webinars. So I'd like to personally thank all of these participants for their time and the fact that they're putting in a little bit of self-development time by learning new things that come on these presentations. I'd like to thank Aisha for your intro and for your mediating here. I'd like to thank my colleagues also, Sarim and Umair and whoever was instrumental in bringing this program online. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you again, Fatima. We hope you'll
Thank
be.
you.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Welcome.
Aisha, over to you. You want to finish it?
Yeah, just I've said, like, we have shared the information. Other than that, you can find us on our platforms. All the registration links and all the our social media platform links are in the chat box, and you can join them. And if you want any other additional information, you can use those links. And see you in another webinar or online training. And thank you for your time. Love.
Bye-bye.
Lapis.
Yes.